Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we take that stack of sources you send us, pull out the core insights, and get right to the point for you.
Mm-hmm.
And today, you asked us for a deep dive into some specific excerpts. They were all pulled from this document called Feeling Good, the new moodtherapy.pdf. Sounds promising, right?
Very promising title. Suggests real takeaways.
Yeah, I was genuinely excited. I thought, okay, this is actionable advice, mood improvement, maybe some cool science about our brains.
The kind of stuff you'd expect from that title, definitely.
So I thought, okay, let's unpack this. But when I actually opened the source file, honestly, my first thought was, is my computer glitching? No, seriously, I checked my downloads like 3 times. I thought I'd messed something up.
And, that feeling, that sort of confusion, maybe a bit of frustration, that's actually our starting point today.
How do you mean?
Because this deep dive is, well, it's unusual. What's really fascinating here isn't the content, but the structure, or rather the lack of structure. We're diving into basically a profound absence of information.
You're absolutely right. Our source material today isn't text. It's just a long sequence of blank image placeholders, page after page.
Like getting a book with only a cover.
Exactly. A huge textbook. You open it up, and every single page is just white. We've got the title, we've got the expectation it sets up, but zero actual content inside.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So our mission today, it kind of shifts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We can't summarize knowledge that isn't there.
Right.
Instead, we have to analyze this unique challenge, this information void. We have to work with the source as provided, and today, the source is silent.
The silent source.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start with what we do have then. The title. That's our main clue, really.
It's our only clue, essentially.
Feeling Good, the new mood therapy. That's not just, a random phrase. It signals something specific, doesn't it? A field of study.
It absolutely does. That title is very strongly linked, historically, with cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT.
Ah, CBT.
Okay. Which is, put simply, about learning to spot the sort of faulty thinking patterns, the mental shortcuts that mess with our moods.
So it's about changing how you think to change how you feel.
That's the core idea, yeah. Change the thoughts and the feelings and behaviors tend to follow. It's quite structured.
So the book should have been full of step-by-step instructions, not just vague ideas, but a program.
Exactly. A system for kind of restructuring how you process things emotionally.
Okay, so since you, the listener, came here for a shortcut and we hit this weird wall, maybe we can use the idea of the content.
Let's do that. Let's pull out a key nugget related to the title's promise, even though the pages are blank. A core part of CBT is identifying something called automatic thoughts.
Automatic thoughts. Okay, what are those?
They're those instant gut reactions, often negative, that pop into your head before you've even had a chance to think logically.
Oh, like when I opened that blank file and my immediate thought wasn't, that's odd. It was more like, oh, great, the file's corrupted. This whole deep dive is ruined. I'll never get it done.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
That lightning-fast jump to the worst-case scenario. In CBT terms, that's often called catastrophizing.
Right, making a catastrophe out of, well, a blank document in this case.
Exactly. You took one problem of missing info, and your automatic thought blew it up into total disaster.
Mm.
If this book had content, it would likely teach you how to catch that thought and, reframe it, challenge it.
So wait, the blank document itself, it's actually kind of forcing us to do a bit of mood therapy right now because we have to look at our own reaction to it.
In a way, yes, it creates this immediate real-world test case. How do you respond when the expected information just isn't there? What's that first automatic thought?
That's interesting.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, it raises a question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If the instructions for feeling good are just missing, totally blank, what does the learner assume? Is it their fault? Did the source just fail them?
It forces you to think about the source of the failure, yeah.
It's a moment of what we call metacognition, thinking about your own thinking.
Okay, well, let's talk about the source failing because that's the really odd part here. It's not just one blank page or a corrupted file. It's dozens and dozens of these placeholder images, sequentially ordered, like someone intended for content to be there.
Right. It's a structured absence.
Yeah.
It's not random noise. It's deliberate-looking white space.
So the only fact we can actually confirm from the source itself is the sheer volume of nothingness.
Pretty much. We can confirm a high volume of intended information, maybe. The container's definitely there. It's large.
Yeah.
But it holds air.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where it gets, I think, quite relevant for anyone dealing with information today. This structure, this container without content. It's almost a perfect metaphor for well, for information overload sometimes.
Hmm. Okay, I have to push back a little there. That feels convenient. Like we're finding deep meaning in what might just be a technical glitch. Our listener wanted instructions, not a Zen koan about emptiness.
No, that's a fair challenge. It's not about finding meaning in a glitch itself, but about what the experience of encountering that glitch highlights. Think about it.
Mhm.
We often get these huge PDFs, right, or massive reports. They promise so much knowledge just by their size.
Yeah, the heft implies substance, authority.
Exactly. But how often do you dive in and find that the actual actionable insight is kind of hard to find?
No.
It might be buried in jargon or filler, or it's just not synthesized well. The volume is there, but the useful content feels elusive.
Okay, I see where you're going.
This blank document is just the most extreme version of that. It's completely transparent about its lack of substance. It's like getting a fancy cookbook where every page just has a picture of an empty plate. The promise is there, the structure is there, but the recipe, gone.
The overwhelming capacity for emptiness. I like that phrase. Okay, so back to the listener. What does this mean for you if you came here wanting that shortcut, that quick knowledge hit? You wanted speed, we gave you silence.
Well, the irony is, the fastest path here was recognizing the silence. The shortcut was identifying immediately that this specific resource wasn't going to deliver.
Ah, so the skill isn't just finding information, but also quickly recognizing when it's not there in the place you expect it.
Precisely. The blank pages force you back onto the metadata. The title, the context we know about CBT. You can't verify anything inside the document, so you have to rely entirely on external context and your own critical assessment of the source itself.
The ultimate shortcut is realizing, nope, this path is blocked, pivot. But okay, you mentioned CBT earlier. How else does this whole blankness tie into those ideas beyond just the catastrophizing?
Good question. Let's bring in another common thinking pattern CBT addresses, all or nothing thinking, sometimes called black and white thinking.
Okay.
So when faced with this completely useless file, an automatic thought might be, well, this source is garbage, so the whole topic is probably nonsense. Right. Or, I can't learn this, all the resources must be this bad.
Ah, right. It's either perfect or it's totally worthless. No middle ground. This file failed, therefore everything related to it is suspect.
Exactly that binary trap. A more balanced view, the kind CET encourages, would be, okay, this specific file is unusable. That's annoying. Now, where else can I find reliable information on this topic? It separates the failure of the single source from the validity of the entire subject or your ability to learn it.
So the blank source, paradoxically, becomes a tool for practicing that mental discipline.
It really does. It highlights the need for critical thinking, not just about the information itself, but also about our reactions when the information flow breaks down. The abscess forces self-awareness.
Okay, so wrapping this up, a very unusual deep dive. We looked into the complete absence of content in a file titled Feeling Good. We saw how the title promised specific structured advice, likely based on CBT.
But the document itself delivered only, well, a structural void. Page after page of nothing.
Which led us down a path of analyzing not content, but the lack of it and our reactions to that lack.
And that leads perfectly into the final thought we want to leave you with, tying it back directly to mood therapy.
Okay.
If, as CBT suggests, a key part of feeling good is examining your automatic thoughts and emotional responses, what automatic thoughts and feelings did you experience when you realized this source was empty?
When you heard us describe the blank pages, did you feel frustrated, annoyed, maybe confused?
Did that initial feeling maybe get magnified? Did you perhaps think this whole deep dive is a waste of time, that all or nothing thinking? Or maybe emotional reasoning, I feel disappointed, therefore this whole endeavor is disappointing.
So you didn't get the step-by-step guide from the source today.
But you did get a very real, immediate example of an emotional trigger in action. The blank page wasn't just a lack of information. It was maybe a mirror, reflecting your own cognitive habits when faced with unexpected failure or absence.
Your homework, then, is to perhaps reflect on that. What was your first reaction? Which thinking pattern maybe kicked in for you?
It's a fascinating, if maybe slightly frustrating, insight into how you process information setbacks.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us on this unique exploration. We genuinely hope the next source we tackle has a bit more ink on the virtual page.
Yeah, hopefully some actual content next time.
Until then, keep digging, even if sometimes you just hit air.